Well, back to the iOS changes and Facebook and stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
so it's interesting right now. I've been having conversations with business owners, and for the most part, for the last 6-7 years, when I've been hosting this podcast and working with founders of e-commerce businesses, there's been a lot of tailwinds, and now it feels like there's some headwinds in selling products online, whether that's supply chain issues or, iOS updates, privacy issues with Facebook, and increased or just making it more challenging. How has it impacted you guys, and how do you think about what's happening right now in our space?
Yeah, I like it in a strange way because we set out, and the bulk of our business and our decisions have always been data driven. And when I first started, recruiting our COO over many beer and whiskey and dinners and all of these kinds of things, he is heavily involved in analytics. And so we've always been focused that way. And so, it's when you understand your numbers to the point that sometimes your payment processor will contact you and say, hey, like, how are you guys doing this? You're the only ones that understand this kind of stuff. Then these shifts around, tracking and attribution, become less scary, let's say, for lack of a better term. So,
and I think that really is what it is. It's actually, It's fear. It's not necessarily, I think it's just, it's fear of the unknown, because you can't track the way that you did in the past, even though it hasn't been that long we've been able to track this way.
Yeah. So it in large part, it really detracts from people's ability to make rapid decisions, because they don't know if that ad is working, or if they don't know if that ad set is working the way it is, because the attribution is all messed up, or Facebook is attributing more dollars to a particular ad because it looks like in their algorithm that it's the favorite ad, when we know, because we track via UTM, that it actually isn't converting. And so it's loading up all the budget to these wrong ads. So you have to manually go in and really manipulate your creatives, where you didn't have to do that before, and you could rely on it with some measure of confidence. That doesn't exist anymore. And so from a tracking perspective, there's a couple of softwares out there. I haven't used them, so I can't speak to them. We track in-house with our CRM, with Google Analytics, and then Facebook as kind of the third to back cleanup. When we stretch it out over time, their attribution is pretty close.
Facebook is.
Yeah, depending on how you have your attribution window set, 7 days versus 1 day, it can underreport or overreport in kind of a micro cosm of time, or even a little more macro, say week to week. But with the utilization of UTMs and our own CRM, we can still make data-driven decisions, we're doing it right now on a weekly basis. Could we do it on a daily if we, come January, which is Q1 is a big month for us, we'll probably be able to make daily decisions. But right now, weekly is more than accurate, and right down to using UTM to be able to track which ad is performing, which headline is performing, all of these different small, the minutia of your ads, and with comfort,
So you're welcoming it.
Yep. Because, it really takes out some of the hacks out of the space, and people who don't know their numbers and don't work to understand business. I'm sure that, the ad inventory has improved because you're just not cluttered with, get this pair of pants or this from some drop ship store, which I don't have anything
anymore. Yeah.
They have a lot more difficulty in making it work, not to mention honest supply chain. Like, I feel bad. I feel like there's some exposure for some businesses because or people who want to start these side hustles. They're in a drop ship situation, but you can't rely on that supply chain anymore. You can't rely on the tracking metrics, all of these really important factors that made it really easy. You just had to have good creatives, you let the rest of the system take care of itself. And so what I think for your listeners is critically important to be successful. A, again, know your numbers. B, build a brand, build something that people can search and that they can develop that relationship with. And that, to me, is one of the biggest differences I think that these platforms are forcing on people. Is people have to trust you. And, we find now, although we do utilize direct response and people come and make that decision right then and there, we also have a very important halo effect as a result of all of our advertising efforts on native and on
Sure.
Facebook, where we're being searched, and we have really good CPAs as a result of that, our cost per acquisition on Google search, because people are searching our brand and they want to know more about us, and we tell good stories. Like the business is the result of powerful, legit stories. That's that's at the heart of who we are.